you say that because I was kind of like the first one that ever got caught up in that could have busted the whole scandal wide open way before it even started. But I just didn't um that wasn't my thing. But if I was thinking like that, who knows where I could have been to this day, because I would have won that case. But the fact that the situation that I was in, man, the police was threatening me. They threatened to take my brother back to jail because they said pro a parole officer can't be in the house with a gang member. I'm a registered gang member, all this stuff. And it was just a big thing. They was doing too much harassing on my family. So I literally had to go inside there and just say what they wanted me to say, just so they could just leave me alone and get it on their record about the incident, that's about me, not nobody else, about me, strictly me. Hey, this your host, Dr. Crip. Welcome to the Dr. Crip Show. I'm your boy, Dr. Crip. And once again, we answering commenter, Midnight Star 5252. She had a good question. She said she's talking about Rampart. Basically gangs, the police, what they did in Rampart, yeah. And look, Midnight Star, your boy was the first one. It didn't get recognized around the world like everybody else, but trust and believe, I was the first person that could have busted Rampart out. Had I been smart, it would have all came out way back then. I had a case and they couldn't deal with the case because it was too many people involved. God had his hands placed on me at the time when I didn't even know. See, I'm in my sickness and I really don't even know that I'm sick like this. I'm just going with the flow or whatever is happening. So this is how this story goes. So one day, me and Lil Brain, we chilling, we minding our own business. Dirtbag walk up on us. Dirtbag got a house in the hood. So he always messing with the little fast girls that's 15, 16, 17. That always probably be lying about they ain't doing this, they ain't doing that, when really they be. That's why you need to watch them little girls. Little girls need to be watched for sure. Because their attraction is the thug gangster dude, so you want to try to deal with that as soon as possible. But Dirtbag, he got this girl at his house. We pull up this little girl, me and the Brain, we ain't tripping, and Dirtbag come to the car and he tell us, he say, yeah, man, she live around the corner on 95th. And you know, her parents, this and that, and the Brain is like, what her parents do? And he like, I don't know, let me go ask her. He go ask her, come back. He said, she said her daddy is a police. Like, what? Like, yeah. Like, look, the Brain go into full mode. He like, look, this is what you do, dirtbag. Go in there and just keep her. Do not let her leave for the next couple of hours. You keep her right here. Like, okay, for sure. So the Brain go get his partner Noise. So Noise, me, Brain, and Noise, we own. So um he show us where she live at and all that, then he go back over there to keep her occupied. So me, Brain, and Noise, we up in the house. We go up in the house. We up in the house. We searching. We moving. We looking. We doing everything. Boom. Of course, your boy find the guns. and like a little stack, 5,000, 6,000, I think it was. Ooh, in my pocket, guns. Ooh, I'm out of here. Let's go. So the brain in them, they empty out the house. They take all the china. They they do all the whole disrespect the police type of thing. You living in the hood. So I called my cousin, and of course I do this all the time because he's a gun consumer for some reason, and I guess he like to shine on the little homies. He buy them and give them to the little homies so he can be in their good grace. Like, oh, a big homie gave us some burners, so he can always stay in their favor or something like that. But he gives the burners to he buy them from me. I sell them to him, and then he give them away to the homies in the hood. So now, one day, it's about a week or so after the you know the invasion, like a week or two after the invasion. So I'm at the park one day, and this is how karma happens. Because in your sickness, you can experience everything, so other stuff that can make you sick, and you have to know how to handle it. See, I'm glad I was by myself so I can handle that situation. See, I didn't tell on myself. I didn't tell on nobody else. It was just me and the government, and I won. So I'm chilling at the park one day, and in my sickness, I create rules. When I was in my sickness, I created rules, and one of my rules is, if you holding a gun at that time, and you know you got to take that gun with you, or if you leave that gun, or you can't go home with the gun. I think that was it. Don't take the burner home. Leave the burner with somebody responsible, or hide it, somewhere where only where you, because where that thing at? Oh, it's over there. So one day I'm hanging out at the park, little homies up in there, and the little homie, his parents pull up, and they blowing the horn like, come on, come on, come on. He got the burner. So he look at me and he like, big homie. He was like, he was like, I gotta go, man. My mama down there. And I was like, all right, go. He was like, man, look, I got this thing. And I was like, man, put that up. He was like, I know. That's what I'm saying. I don't. You said, he used my own words. He said, you said, don't leave this burner with no busters over there. And he was pointing to about 4 homies over there. He was like, I don't trust none of them. He said, no, I don't want to be a part of nothing. And I ain't got time to be moving because she's standing right there. I can't go run or nothing. He's like, can you just take the burner? And I was like, oh. I'm like, here, man, give me a gun. So I took the gun. Same gun from the Hizzy. I look at it, I'm like, oh, man, how'd you get this? My cousin. I'm like, oh, no. So I take the gun. So now I go walk and through the gym to the back. I created a spot for just these type of situations. This is what you do. You walk down here, boom, cut right here, and walk straight in the center, and drop it right there. And that's where it's gonna be at. Make sure it's tucked real nice. Ain't nobody gonna, mess with it right here. So I was doing that. And when I was doing that, guess who come pay us a visit? Crash. Watching me what I'm doing. Already scoping. They behind the trash cans and all that. They got the whole back streets blocked and everything. They finna enter the park in jackets because the homies is out here like 25 deep. So now, plus it's football, it's all kind of stuff going on. So plus out, the mother, the den mother from the Woodcrest at that particular time, she was my love of my life. um I'm like, let me hide this burner and get back over here to what I'm doing, you know. So as soon as I putting the burner down, I pull the burner up, finna stick it down. I hear freeze nut from the police. They know, you know, the police know all the real freeze nut, drop it. And I'm like, oh, and I break. I drop it and I break. What you ready for? He already know it, who it is, but I break. I break to the back of the park. Boom, I'm trying to get away. Now, I am a good runner. I can get away. I've been got away with my leg messed up and everything. I have got away from a whole lot of scenes and all that. But this day, they already had it set up to where they was like, we getting everybody that come down the hill and the whole nine. So I'm down the hill. So I stop in front of Miss McDonald's. OG homegirl. She been selling nickel sacks forever. When I was a kid, she was selling weed out of her house. Nickel sacks. I dropped right in front of her house. So police, because they freeze, get on the ground, nut, get on the ground. So all the police already know who I am. So I stop, I give up. So now the one who was chasing me from at the park, he come down. This dude right here get me, he cuffed me. So now when this dude come down, he come down like, yeah, nut, we got your ass. And he kicked me in my chin. Little scar right there. That scar right there. That's from the boot. That's from his boot. He kicked me right in the chin, split my shit open wide. Boom. So now they bring me back up to the park. They walk me back up the hill, tired and everything, leaking, blood everywhere. Why did they walk me in front of the whole park and put me in the car in front of the kids, the practice teams, everybody? My girl out there then, they going crazy because they didn't. I don't even think they knew I was running because it wasn't really nobody back there. But when they bring me back up there, they see all this like, what is going on? You know? So they put me in the car. And all the kids running up to the car. Let him go. Let him go. He didn't do nothing. They scream. See, that's karma though for you. But God got a plan for you though. But he like, yeah. See, all these kids be watching you. You know, so that's a lesson. So remember that. So they like, he going down. He had a gun with all this other stuff. So we pull out the park. They taking me down to the glass house downtown. So on the way down there, when I was running, I had already had ate some soul food or something. So I was in the car while he was talking. I said, man, I'm finna throw up. And he said, you throw up in my car, you're gonna have another hole in your head. I said, shit, it's finna come out. He said, man, don't throw up in my car. I said, man, it's finna come out, right? So they stopped the car in the middle of the traffic and popped the door open. I leaned out, threw all that out, threw it all up, you know, all that from all that running and all that excitement and everything. And him kicking me, my head was dizzy. Everything just came out. I let it all out. Woo. So he was like, man, don't throw up no more. So I was like, I think I'm good. So he take me down to the glass house. Now, at this time, they not even asking me no questions, and I ain't saying nothing. So that's just the connection. What it is, they like your ass going to jail, and I ain't saying nothing. It's all good. So when they get me to the glass house, they pull me in the glass house. So now when I get in the glass house, I'm handcuffed to the bench. I ain't tripping. The black jailer, sexy too. She walk up to the dude and say, why'd you bring him here? And he like, what you talking about? He getting arrested. I brought him. She said, I'm not taking him like that. You got to take him to the hospital. He like, what? I ain't taking him to the hospital. He finna be booked in. She was like, I'm not booking him in. That's not finna happen. You need to take him to the hospital because mine is just wide open leaking with, dirt and all kinds of stuff in it, glass or whatever it is. You feel me? So he he like, man, he get into it with the jailer. So they going back and forth, and they finally hit like they gotta pick me up and take me out because at this time I didn't know the whole park then called down to the police, and they own one. Kids, everybody is calling down there. So the police say, "Man, look, okay, we're gonna take him to the hospital." So they take me to General right downtown, so California. So when I go inside the hospital, I'm sitting in the hallway. I ain't saying nothing. I'm just through. I'm just sitting there. So when the doctor come, like bring him in. So when I'm sitting there, the doctor tell the police, you need to uncuff him. The police say, I ain't uncuffing him. He a criminal. Nah. He said, what? He said, listen, you need to uncuff him so I could do my job. He said, I'm not uncuffing him. You could do whatever you need to do to his face without him being uncuffed. And the doctor said, man, you can't tell me what I need to do, how I need to do my job. What you need to do is that you need to uncuff him so I can do my job. And I don't put all this in my report. And he still was like, nah, he gonna do something. And the doctor looked at me. He said, if they uncuff you, are you gonna do something? I said, no. He said, uncuff him. So they had to uncuff me. And then he said, go wait in the hallway, as a matter of fact. I don't even want you in here. So one of them was like, no, we have to stay here, because he's a known convicted felon, all this other stuff. So he said, I'm gonna stand over here. So he moved to the corner, and the doctor was like, so tell me what happened. I said, I was hiding a gun in Jesse Owens Park. I guess he must have been watching me. He seen me hide the gun. He seen me hiding the gun. So when because he know my name, when he told me to freeze, I dropped the gun and just start proceeding to run it, just out of, trying to make it go away, but once I seen I couldn't, I wasn't going to get away or anything. I ran a few blocks, but once I seen I couldn't get away, I just gave up. And his partner handcuffed me, put me on the ground, and then he walked up and was like, yeah, we got you. And he kicked me in my chin. Police go crazy. Oh, he lying. Oh, that's glass. He fell running and all this other type of stuff. So the doctor like, listen, I don't need your explanation. Boom. He's looking at my chin. He cleaned it up. He looking at it. And he says, in my professional medical opinion as a doctor of 40 years, I know what a glass cut looked like, and I know what a hard boot cut looked like. And this looks like a hard cut boot. This looks like a boot, something like that. This is not from glass. I just sat there and looked, and he was hot. So the doctor said, listen, I'm going to have to put 12 stitches in there, 6 on the inside that's going to dissolve and 6 on the outside. Like, okay. And he did it while the police was standing there. And when he finished, he asked me, what he asked me? He asked me something else. He said, give me your name. He said, give me your name and all this other stuff. Tell me your mother name and the whole nine. Write all this other stuff down. So I gave him all the information, and he wrote exactly what I said happened on that form. And The police was upset. He trying to get the form from police, from the doctor. He like, man, you need to give me that because that ain't true. So the doctor's like, listen, it's time for you to leave out the hospital. It's time for you to go. I will be turning in my report and everything. So now they take me back to the glass house. When I get back to the glass house, they book me in. They put me in the cell. While I'm sitting in the cell, the jailer lady comes to the cell and she says, "What's your mama number?" And I looked at her and I'm like, because I'm not screaming, I ain't hollering, I'm not doing nothing. I'm just, it's over with. I'm just chilling. She said, I'm like, huh? She said, "What's your mama number?" And I said, "My mama number?" She said, "Yeah, this police, he be always doing this. What's your mama number?" So I gave her my mama number. Hey, here, call her. So she said, "Yeah, um, you need to file a lawsuit and all that, and everybody in here gonna be part of it as a witness." I was like, "For real?" She like, "Yeah, make sure you tell your mama to file a lawsuit." I was like, "Are you serious?" She like, "Yeah." I was like, "All right." Boom. So they booked me in the glass house. They put me in the cell. I'm in the cell and I'm chilling now. I'm just relaxing. Bam, 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 bam. Bars, with the flashlight. Bam, bam, bam. Thomas. Yeah, what's up? What's happening? Yeah. Yeah, that police officer, that house you broke in, yeah, that was one of ours. That was LAPD. And we gonna make sure y'all pay the price for that and this and that and the whole nine. I'm like, man, I ain't broke into nothing. What are you talking about? He like, yeah, it's a gang of prints all in the house. Don't worry about nothing. I'm like, all right, for sure. I'm not worried about nothing. The girl, the daughter that dirtbag got at his house, that had at his house, well, apparently she had been having parties with a bunch of homies from the hundreds, and who I guess she skipped over us. We was last resort. Till she finally started dealing with us on the last day because the parents was gone for about 3 or 4 days. So I think the hundreds or somebody already had been down there partying all in the house. I don't, they didn't find the burners and all that. I don't know what they was down there doing, but they had fingerprints all in the house. Unfortunately, my fingerprints wasn't nowhere in that joint. So he like, yeah, it's on with y'all. We got y'all. It's all good. Don't worry about nothing. Yeah, you'll be going down for this. And it's the police from Crash, from the cop, from the TV show Cops, the Crash, the white boy. So I'm like, yeah, all right, for sure. Say no more. I got you. And I laid back on the bunk and went to sleep because he tried to like, what? So where you get the gun from? I said, look, man, the gun, it was some kids that came in the park. They had the gun, man. I work with kids. That's what I do. And I seen them at the gun. I took the gun from them and I was hiding the gun. That's what I was doing, man. That's my story and I'm sticking with it. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. All right, for sure. About either that night, like like later that night, then all the fingerprints came back. And when they came back, mine was nowhere on there. And he came and back to the cell again. Bang, bang, bang with the flashlight. Get up. What's up? He was like, yeah, we sticking you with everything. And I was like, I ain't even did nothing, man. I wasn't in that house. He was like, so what? It was hot. My fingerprints wasn't in there. So they couldn't pin the break in and all this other stuff on me. So because my fingerprints wasn't in there nowhere. None of us, not us three, that when we didn't have nothing to do with nothing. We wasn't there. So he hot now. So when I get my charges, they give you the little blue slip with your charges. Man, they put about 15 charges on. They put about 15 charges on there. I was like, damn, how I'm gonna fight all this? This is crazy. So when I go to court, I never forget it. My public to see, this is the thing. See, people always saying dumb truck public. Oh man, he had a dumb truck. He had this and that. If you know how to get, if you know when you got an attorney that is potentially could be on your side, you have to work with him. Do not hold nothing. Let him understand the case. You have to work with him. So what? He's a public defender. You got to know what you're doing. You got to know how to work with him. So when I went to court, the guy was from Harvard, and you could tell he was part of that Mason because he had the ring on. He was part of that Mason stuff. So when he looking at the case, he was like, man, your fingerprints ain't even in here. How'd you? I said, man, listen, I work with the kids. The kids came in the park. They had the burner. I seen it. I took the gun from them. He said, well, why you didn't call the police? I said, man, I was turning the gun in later to the park because I don't want to have nothing to do with the police, you know? So that's why I was hiding outside where I knew nobody was going to mess with it, you know, and I didn't want it on me. So he was like, okay, for sure. So he like, man, look, well, you got some of the organizations and people you work. Yeah, man, here go all the information. Call them, you know. Woo. So he go do his due diligence, do everything, come back. Yeah, he was like, man, he was like, you a good dude. He said, man, everybody I talk to say, man, you a good dude. I said, man, yeah, I am a good dude. I said, man, I'm always caught up in situations like this. So it's nothing I can do about it. He said, man, we're going to see if we can get all this knocked down. Because, see, that's when they was stretching you out for them gun cases, you know. So he go in there, he get all them charges I had, them 15, he get them knocked down to about 2. So when I finally go into court, he like, listen, take 45 days. I'm gonna give you 45. I can get you 45 days. I'm like, okay, because you was getting county lids and everything for burners. So he said, man, I'm gonna get you 45 days. Okay, for sure, I'll take it. Took the 45 days. As soon as you get in there, hey man, how many days I gotta do all 45 days? Oh man, you're gonna do about 12 days. You're gonna do something like that. So I do about 6 or 7 days. Roll it up. Release. I roll it up. Now, I'm released. When I get out, the homies is mad at me. When I pull up, they like, hey, cuz, man, these police out here fucking with us behind you. And I'm like, why? Well, why they fucking with it? He like, man, what did you got a case against the police? I was like, nah, man, I ain't got nothing against the police. I'm not doing nothing. While I was in there, and before I went to court, 2 police came and got me in the middle of the night. And they was like, hey, come on with us. As we walk in, one is in front and one is behind me. And we walking up these stairs in the glass house. We keep going up these stairs and we going all the way for a long time. So I started getting nervous because I heard about how they did the homie from East Coast one time, pushed him down some stairs and all the time. So I started getting nervous. I was like, man, where we going? He was like, man, shut up and keep walking. I was like, man, where are we going? Like, man, keep going. Man, we walked up a lot of steps. So finally, we got up to this room, and it looked like a big X-ray camera machine was in there and all this other type of stuff. So they introduced themselves. They was like, look, we such and such from Internal Affairs. I didn't even know what that was at the time. I was like, huh? They was like, yeah, we Internal Affairs. They like, we want you to tell us what happened. So I was like, it's on the police report, ain't it? He like, yeah, we want to hear from you, though. Tell us what happened. So I told him the same thing that happened. And they had that doctor's report. And he said, what hospital did you go to? I said, I went to California Hospital. He said, what doctor did you see? I said, I don't know. He was a white doctor. I don't remember his name. He said, what did you tell him happened? I said, man, I told him that the same thing I'm telling you right now. I was running and, and he told me, he going to give me 12 stitches and, all the other stuff. So they like, okay. They said, look, that police is under investigation for assault against you. You need to get an attorney. You need to get with your family. You need to get an attorney. So I'm like, yeah, all right, because I'm not thinking about suing the police. I didn't know nothing about it. It wasn't a thought that crossed my mind. So when they let me out, when I went to court and I got out from court, I came to the hood. That's when it hit me because the homies was hot. They was like, man, them niggas impound my car because of you. I was like, what you talking about? He like, man, they said, yeah, this on your homie nut. Like, I like, is he telling what? Like, he like, they like, nah, just, yeah, this behind your homie nut. This behind your homie nut. That's why we taking your car. Like, you shouldn't be driving around with, you didn't have no tag, so they could take your car. Like, your tag was expired. They were supposed to give you a ticket, but since your tag's expired, they take it. They like, we taking your car. I was like, man, I ain't got nothing to do with that. But the big homie was mad. He was like, man, they took my car. So I was like, man, he was like, man, they saying that you suing them and all this other stuff. So I was like, man, I ain't suing nobody. I don't know nothing about nothing. Then my mother, we had beepers. Did we have beepers or cell phones? I think we might have had cell phones too. I think my phone rang and it was my mother. And she was like, hey, some attorney just called me. And I was like, for real? She was like, yeah, you need to call this number. So when I called the number, he was like, hey, you are such and such, such and such. I'm like, yeah. He like, well, look, you've been appointed a counsel for this case, and you could possibly seek funds and all this other stuff against these officers. So all these people have done all this stuff on my behalf, and I don't even know. The jailers, it started with the jailers, it started with the whole park calling up there complaining, and it just then created a thing. So I'm like, oh, okay. So he was like, do you have any witnesses to what happened? I was like, nah. He said, do you know anybody that's on that block? I said, yeah, the house that I was in front of. I know them people. He said, you think they was looking when it happened? Most people be looking. I was like, I don't know. I said, but I know him, He said, well, we're going to need to talk to him. So I'm like, okay. I tell the homie, Willie McDonald, I tell the homie, I say, come on, man. He's like, hey, man, moms don't want me to have nothing because mom sell too much weed. She tells too many niggas things. She like, we don't got nothing to do with that. I said, Will, I said, man, we gonna get broke off. I said, man, I'm gonna break you off. All you gotta do is say you seen him kick me in the chin, man. That's it. He like, man, I can't do it. My mama won't let me do it. I said, man, this is enough money where you can move. He like, I can't go against the grain, man. I can't go against the grain. I said, Lord, so I couldn't get no witnesses. But that really didn't matter anyway, because Crash, these dudes was so relentless, they start stalking my house. They came to the house, knocked on the door, tried to scare my mama, told my mama, hey, your other son just got out. He going to jail. We're going to put a case on him because he ain't supposed to be around gang members. We finna go tell his PO he live around a gang member. He ain't supposed to be around no gang members. That's part of his parole conditions. So my brother called me like, man, I'm like, man, I know they tripping. So my mother told me, said, my other son he don't live here. Just my son who got out of prison live here. He don't live here, but they like, we ain't going for it. We taking it. This address is on his ID or something, so he live here. So what they want me to do, the police, what they want me to do is they want me to come down to 77, which had moved. It wasn't a magnificent station that they got built on Broadway now. No, they was in a temporary station. They remodeled that one. This one, they was on Western, down in the Brim Hood, and the Six Deuces down there. They had the little warehouse area district down there. So they had the little Cabano police station set up. They told me, they said, look, you need to come over here and get on record that you fell and that you cut your chin on glass. And I was like, man, I ain't doing all that. You got me. I'm cool on y'all. They said, yeah, well, your brother is going to be in jail by tomorrow or something with a fresh case. And I was like, oh, y'all scared. I couldn't let my brother go to jail. So I said, all right. I said, so when I'm supposed to come down there, man? They said, man, you need to come down here like tomorrow or something. So I walked in there free. Do you know, had I been smart and just wore a little tape recorder thing and stuck it in my pocket, I could have got that police officer on record saying, yeah, we don't give a fuck. We know he kicked you in your chin, but yeah, you gonna do this now. We gonna take your brother to jail and all this other shit because we can't be stopped. He said all kind of crazy. I could have had it all. They never searched me. They never touched me. They never did nothing. I could have had that thing in my pocket the whole time. You feel me? While they was talking. So that's why, man, you gotta think. You gotta always be sharp. When I was in my sickness, my mind wasn't as clear during that whole time. I wasn't understanding what was going on. I just knew that the police hated me, and that police officer, he could never be a detective because he put this scar on my chin. To this day, that guy can never be a detective. I ran into him 10 years after that case. 15 years after that case. He knew who I was before I even knew. When they ran our eye, he was like, yeah, you remember me? And I was like, nah. And he was like, how your chin doing? And I was like, and I started looking at him. And I looked at that name and I was like, I'm like, man, that was 15, 20 years ago. You still out here walking the beat? And he was like, yeah, I wonder why. And it dawned on me, after I found the information out, that grievance held him back from moving up his ladder of what he was trying to get accomplished, because he only had two stripes still all that time. And from that day to that day when I had seen him, it was like 20 years had passed and he still was a stripe. So he was hot. He searched my car. They searched my car for 2 hours that day. I'm like, damn. I still wouldn't know who he was because wasn't talking to him doing the whole searching and everything. He came up at the end when he couldn't find nothing and was like, yeah, you know who I am and all that. So yeah, man, I was the first Rampart. Had I been smart, my case would have been everywhere, man, and I would have been on because I would have won that Rodney King money and I wouldn't have been doing all that. Look, man, this Dr. Crip. Let's end the sickness, man. When you're in your sickness, you don't understand when stuff is happening and you trying to be macho and you trying to be hard and hood when you need to go with the flow and understand what's going on. I should have relocated my brother and I should have handled my business, but that's because you in your sickness when you're not focused like that. So yeah, man, this is Dr. Crip. I was the first Rampart. Let's end the sickness, man. Do something for a child today. Go to Amazon.com right now and get the boy book. There you go. Where you from, homie? On Amazon right now.com. And if you want the baseball book, this is the Crip League, first Crip book ever. This is the Bible book for Crips right here. Look how thick it is, man. The Crip League. You want this on your mantle. This is Dr. Crip, ending the sickness.